I'm thinking about the other adults in your life at this point. As someone that's taken up teaching full time now, were there any teachers in junior school or middle school or high school that you remember, for for some reason? Maybe they took a particular interest in you. Maybe they taught a subject in a particular way. Maybe one or two teachers or stories of learning experiences that had an impact on you.
Of course, there are countless. I've truly just been so blessed to have, just the ability to even say there are countless teachers that have been such pivotal people in my life, such important people in my life that have mentored me is a huge thing on its own. But one that always comes to mind, a personal favorite of mine. I don't think if he ever watches this, I don't think he'll be offended if I say his name. It was Jason Engel. He was, well, Mr. Engel to me at that time. He was my 10th grade English teacher. And with Mr. Engel, it was more so that I truly felt so comfortable in his classroom. And I don't know looking back whether it was the way he taught, maybe the kind of person that he was, but what I do know is I felt excited to go into his classroom every day. And I think a particular reason to that also could have been that I had my first kind of like spark of literature come alive in me in his classroom. So I remember we did this. It was like a cumulative project at the closer to the end of the year where we had to pick a novel and then we do a presentation on it. And I remember that he gave us choice. And I know we learned so much about that, you and I, in, whether it be Western's Faculty of Education program or just even going forward in our teaching careers, we're always taught give children voice, give them choice in the classroom. And that's what he was doing. He said, so there's this project coming up. You can choose any novel that you want as long as it's approved by me. And then you can choose the basis of like how you want to do your presentation, what you want to focus on. And when that happened, I chose this novel called The Lovely Bones. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
It actually got turned into a movie later too. I didn't watch the movie because I think it would be a bit too much for me. But a lovely novel, and I did my presentation, and I just remember throughout the end thinking, this was so much work. It was so hard. I spent day and night doing this, but I had the time of my life. It was so hard, but the process of me going from step one to the end was so much fun
Mhm.
because I don't know where this like connection came from me to the story, but whatever happened in all of that time just made me feel like when one story ends, I want to know what the next story is that I'm reading. And then when that one ends, I want to know what the next one is. So, because of him, I feel I was able to get this feeling within me.
Yeah, I love that feeling. Just and I feel really indebted to the people that introduce you to reading and build that love for you, because you have a safe space in books that you may not always have in real life. And it was beautiful that you found that in that particular book. But thank you for sharing that story, Shigufi. I think that it's amazing to just reflect and remember. And it's hard for teachers to really understand the long-term impact they have on your life, right? But the fact that you're able to remember this particular incident says a lot about Mr. Engel's influence on your life.